There is a major misconception in the Terra Luna Classic community that could cost people thousands of dollars. How much do you really know? People think that the Oracle pool rewards will run out in roughly 1 year. However, that's just simply not true, and they just don't understand how the rewards are distributed. Now, it is true that the Oracle pool does not have a plan to get replenished, as in the balance keeps decreasing over time. However, it is not a linear distribution, so it's not the exact same amount given out every single day to the point where then we eventually hit zero. Instead, it's a distribution based on the current balance. So as the current balance decreases every day, the rewards per day also decrease, and so you get more of a curved model that I'm going to show you guys here in just a couple minutes. So what I did is somewhat simple, but also a little bit complex. There are thousands of rows of data here, as you guys can see. This just goes on all the way down to a few thousand data points. And essentially what I did is broke down the reward distributions to give us an estimate on a 6-hour basis to determine how is this going to actually look over the course of a year. And you might be wondering, why is it so important to know what's going on with the Oracle pool rewards? Well, that's quite simple. What do you think your staking rewards are? You probably think they're higher than they actually are. And do you want to know the truth or not? That's why this is so important, is for us to really know what are our staking rewards? What can we actually expect from staking Terra Luna Classic versus what does it look like if we just do a very basic model? And so the problem is you can look at other websites. You can see things like this, the staking APR at about 60% on this website. If we go over here, we can see staking APR roughly about 37%. And so these staking reward numbers, I'll tell you right now before we get into the numbers, these are way higher than what they actually are. And again, I don't blame these people. This is based on yesterday's distribution number. So essentially what you do is if you take yesterday's distribution number and you apply that over the course of a year, you could get these higher staking yield rewards. However, in reality, that's not how it works. Your rewards, as I said, decrease every single day. And so on the website I've been working on, I recently added a bunch of data and some charts. Be sure to check it out in the link down below. But you guys can come to this website and you can get all this different data. But the thing that we're really interested in is what is this true staking rewards? That's mentioned right here, 14.21% APR. Now again, this is derived from taking a formula that's quite complex and actually go ahead and seeing every single 6 hours, what does the reward distribution look like? And a fair disclaimer here, it is actually distributed every 30 seconds roughly. So doing it every 6 hours is just so that the data is actually able to be processed in Google Sheets. If you try to do 30 seconds over the course of a year, you wouldn't be able to process that. And so it's a little bit of a limitation. So it's off slightly, but this gives you a way closer estimate. Also, if you factor in USTC based on the current values that we're seeing right now, the current conversion from USTC over the Terra Luna Classic, you'd be looking at roughly a 19.8% combined staking yield. This is why it's so critical to have correct information when you're making an investment decision. If you're trying to look over at some of these other websites and you're seeing 37%, almost 60% staking rewards, in reality, you're looking at 14%. That's a dramatically different investment decision. You might be saying, hey, with a 40% plus, I'll invest in this. But if it's under 20%, I don't want to touch it. Well, that's a hard reality that I think we need to come to terms with of what the staking rewards actually look like. Now, there's some good news that comes out of this. If we hop back over to the spreadsheet that I put together, you can see a couple graphs I made right here. So essentially, we have the supply in the Oracle pool over time. Right now we're looking at roughly 275 billion Terra Luna Classic available within this Oracle pool. If you go forward about a year here, you're still looking at roughly 170 billion Terra Luna Classic. So again, far from running empty. We can actually have this thing go for quite a while, but that is going to dramatically decrease the reward distribution over time. And again, it just keeps decreasing over time. Now the rewards, that's also modeled right here. What do these daily rewards look like essentially, or period rewards? Again, this is on a 6-hour basis. You guys can see how that looks over time. So with this, we're not going to be running out necessarily in the Oracle pool in any time soon. And this opens up the potential here for us to actually take some of the Oracle pool rewards and reallocate that to building dApps, funding development, a lot of things like that. So for example, in this chart right here, so you guys can see right here, so we have a blue line means that we take 95%, we take 5% out of the Oracle pool. Red line, we keep 100%. You can see over time, this difference ends up closing in quite a bit. And so really, yes, we would take a hit initially, but over time, this difference would close in to the point where you're really effectively looking at a smaller difference to where it doesn't make that much of a change. Again, same thing happens when you're looking at the reward distribution model for the amount of Terra Luna Classic distributed over time. Stop right there. The vast majority of you are not subscribed and don't have your notification bells turned on. Do that right now so you don't miss another video just like this. And so overall, the Terra Luna Classic staking rewards might be quite a bit lower than what you were hoping or what you're currently looking at on other websites, but this is the reality of the scenario. And the good news, as I mentioned, comes out of this is that we could reallocate some of the pool and not suffer major consequences. we're not going to run out in a year. Now, the reality is validators have a cost to run, and this is something so critical that people overlooked. A validator is going to cost money. For example, we can hop over to all nodes and see pretty clearly right now, if you wanted to do a basic plan, you're looking at about $500 a month, where this advanced plan breaks out to be just over $1,000 a month. If you're a validator node, you're going to be spending about $1,000 a month. Well, to actually break even on that validator node, you need to have currently 1.03% voting power to actually break even on an advanced plan. And I use that as a reference point because I think we all want the validators to have advanced plans. That way, if there's ever an issue, they can get priority support and priority to make sure that the node stays up as long as possible. I mean, do you want to stake to a validator node that's actually going to go down over time? Definitely not. So go for that priority plan. However, that's based on the previous day's distribution. Again, this is some of the numbers that other people are using, is you need about that 1%, but that's based on rewards staying linear. If we skip 1 year into the future and you want to break even on the same plan that costs roughly $1,000, you would need closer to 1.7% voting power to break even on that validator node. And so as we go over the course of the year, we're going to see that difference increase where validators currently only need about 1%, and they're going to slowly increase up to that 1.7% threshold. So when we actually hop over to Terra Station based on voting power and we sort by that, we're seeing very clearly you're looking at basically less than 30 validators that have over 1%. That's not a lot of them considering that we have over 100 validators right now. It means the vast majority of them are probably running at a loss, or they have to go down to that basic tier plan where, again, then you sacrifice some potential support that you might need with a validator node. And I'm sure we can all agree that we want to keep the network as secure as possible. So we should be trying to push for these validators to get over 1%. And we need to do that before it's too late. If these validators run at a loss for too long, they'll just stop doing it. Do you want to lose hundreds of dollars every month? And so if you want to learn how to stake your Terra Luna Classic and actually help support these people that are securing our ecosystem, check out this video up here.